A Midsummer's Longing, written by Bernardo Mortelini, narrated by Bernardo Mortelini. This book is dedicated to my wife Caterina, who loves to read romance novels. Love, Bernardo. Chapter 1. Rain crashed against the upstairs bedroom window as Beatrice looked longingly through the glass apparatus. "When will I find true love?" she exclaimed. "When will that day come?" As the wind began to howl, she thought over her failed exploits at love and her 5 younger sisters' childish advice. Why do I have to be so picky? Why can't I just settle for a nice normal life in the province? Why do I feel like I was born to fly through the sky and make love with gods of men? If I could give sight to Mary Beth and draw more male gaze through the wisp of my dress, my life would be perfect. At that very moment, lightning struck and Beatrice realized the clock likewise had struck midnight. It was now her 18th birthday, and she officially had 1 year to marry or die an old hag, for if she aged 1 more year, how could she compete with flaunting dames in satin petticoats, with eyelashes and personality and spunk that embody a 15-year-old, charm that only time can diminish? With that, Beatrice slipped off to sleep, dreaming of dancing fairies and broad-shouldered men. Despite the stormy night, little did she know she would not wake until the second rooster's crow, with the morning kettle making its familiar whistle, a full hour after her chores should have been done. Chapter 2. Who would ever kiss Alexander Fluter? Gertrude bellowed. He is bald, has buck teeth, and has been sleeping in those same soggy-bottomed pantaloons for at least half a fortnight by now, Macy Grace responded energetically as Beatrice's loudest sisters spread cream over their fire-roasted bread and gobbled over the morning gossip. "What you cotton lilies fail to understand is that love endures longer than limber flesh, and a heart of gold is worth more than all the halfpennies and pences that could fit in all of Father Provard's orchards," retorted Beatrice. "You would be a lucky lass to kiss liquid gold with sight notwithstanding." "Then why don't you marry Alexander Fluter, Beatrice? You are the one that just turned 18, Gertrude instinctively shouted. Beatrice stepped back aghast and accidentally knocked over Father's rake, which caused a chain reaction, knocking off the rest of the family dresses on the table. All 3 girls exploded in uncontrollable laughter. "Watch where you step, Beatrice," Macy Grace somehow managed the words to escape her tongue in between intermittent spurts of laughter. "You might step on the Archduke's toes next time." And with that, all 3 girls fell to the floor in a laughing fit. It was too much for them to handle, and with that they heard a knock on the door. Chapter 3. I am here to invite all the eligible ladies to the province's end of summer dance. Formal attire is required. The gate doors lock at sundown, although you are allowed to leave at any hour, blasted the messenger's voice. As Beatrice opened the door, his voice reverberated through the entire house. "Carriage rides will be available, and there will be dessert platters placed at the end of each of the tables," continued the messenger. "I promised Lady Nightingale there would be a guaranteed intermingling of the sexes and a lighting of Cupid's spark. Please leave me an honest man." And with that the messenger departed. "Hurry, sisters, we only have half a day, and we can't make the messenger a dishonest man," Beatrice chortled to her sisters. "I think I know just what to wear. But first, if you would, Macy Grace, I have been meaning to cut my hair in just the right sensual way, if you would be so kind." With that, Macy Grace gave Beatrice a sensual haircut, and they all picked out their dresses and best summer bonnets to prepare for the dance. Chapter 4. "Kiss me again, Mary Allen, but with more fervor," surreptitiously whispered Eleanor. "I can't take 1 more minute without your lips." They embraced, lips interlocked. "I have missed you, honeysuckle," Mary Allen spurted back with a little less whisper. "You are the chrysanthemum to my carnation. I could spend 1,000 lifetimes locking lips with you, and I would still be coming back for more," Eleanor reciprocated back without missing a beat. "And I would be the luckiest damsel alive, For why can't every day be today? Mary Ellen reacted to Eleanor's profession. She could hardly believe what she had just heard. Please don't stop talking, and definitely don't stop kissing. You are angel's wings. Kiss. You are heaven's breath. Kiss. You are morning dew and sunset serenade. Kiss. You are what life is all about. Kiss. And I can't take it anymore. I must proclaim my love. I love Eleanor Phoenix Lips Von Tramp, Mary Ellen exclaimed anything but surreptitiously. And I love Mary Ellen Juniper Blessing Ballister, Eleanor bursted back. With that, the two embraced, passion unfurled, lips moving like lightning with no more words needing to be said. Chapter 5. Where do my eggs keep disappearing? Father Brevard wondered as he scratched his head. I swear there should be at least half a dozen more eggs at least when compared to last year's batch of chickens. It makes no sense, especially when considering I increased the yield of feed to chicken ratio and have added 4 new hens to the coop. Each new hen has proven she has laying power, as I have found eggs on separate days under each chicken's bed. It couldn't be that I have purchased odd chickens, as they have been born under my own roof, and have been given ample sustenance even since the spring births. I suppose the hens could be eating their eggs, but I would have caught them by now. It is statistically possible that I could have a lower distribution of birthing hens that are holding their eggs in, but that just doesn't seem plausible. It is a mystery I am set on solving. I will find out even if I have to hire a clergy to watch over my fold at night. And with that, Father Brevard closed the chicken coop doors and retired in for the evening. Chapter 6. The gaggle of girls giggled as they looked in the boys' direction. The rich baron's home was adorned for the dance season, and the warm summer weather made for perfect flirting weather. Beatrice made her way to the dessert table, not afraid to separate from the pack of girls and venture out alone. Why, good evening, my tart. Thorns sneaked up behind Beatrice and gave her a flirtatious scare. I didn't see you, Thorny, Beatrice responded while capturing her breath. You look extra dapper this evening. Did you borrow your grandfather's tunic and knickers? I did indeed, and will you dance with me? Thorns parleyed back. If you catch this Liverpool Swiss roll before I finish my figgy pudding, and with that Beatrice tossed the Swiss roll into the air and hurriedly began to scarf down her figgy pudding. Thorns scrambled as fast as he could to catch the Swiss roll, and in a miraculous feat of speed managed to reel in the Swiss roll by the tip of his nails. Got it, he exclaimed. You sure did, she responded back. Well, a deal's a deal. Let's head to the dance floor. With a prance and a gallop, they entered the dance floor, and in practiced unison performed the same choreographed dance that has been repeated for centuries, never touching, but getting within a breath of each other. They circled in perfect lines across the floor to the lively beat, harmoniously making music with their feet, and as soon as it started, the dance ended, and Beatrice felt a tap on her left shoulder. Can I have this next dance? Alexander Fluter kindly asked. I don't see why not, Beatrice answered, while expertly hiding her disappointment, and with that they began to dance, a folk melody to follow tradition. Alexander, not as bad of a dancer as Beatrice might have supposed, he kept up with the rhythm and clapped his hands to the beat. Not bad, Beatrice thought to herself. This boy could grow to defy his birth with the proper tutelage. She responded to each move expertly. They circled each other again, and in a moment of surprise, Beatrice winced in pain as Alexander accidentally stepped on her toes. Ouch, she cried, and even the violinist was befuddled as he grappled to remember the next note. So sorry, Alexander consolingly rejoined in bashful exuberance. I always mess up that part. I'll be okay, Beatrice reassured him. Let's finish the dance. And with that, the wandering eyes dispersed, and the couple awkwardly finished their dance. Alexander made a bow, and Beatrice a curtsy. With a flushed face, she exited the dance floor. Chapter 7. Come on, no one will find us. It's the middle of the night, dared Olivia. I never see anything because I'm blind, interjected Mary Beth. It's okay, you can wait in the house, responded Olivia. And with that, the other three sisters sprinted out to the pond, knowing the way by heart despite the curtain of darkness that had enveloped the quiet countryside for some 4 hours. They then proceeded to skinny dip, and after a nice swim ended up losing their clothes. Beatrice, having not lost her intuition, ended up cross-stitching some burlap sacks to make it back to the house. Chapter 8. Come on, this is my last shot at the fowl. Father worriedly loaded his musket. I can't believe it has come to this. Tell you what, Addison, you give me 2 more shots at these bloody ducks, and I will double your wager and raise you highfalutin, Father stated boldly to the strapping lad. Meaning what, old-timer? Addison questioned back. Meaning if I miss all 3 of my shots, seeing as you have already hit 3 golden ducks out of the sky, I will give you my entire family farm. You are mad, old-timer, but you got yourself a deal. Father reeled back, spat on the ground, and took his aim at the fowl. It was a marbled whistler, 7 pounds, flying north to northwest. Shoot and a miss. Dag nabbit, bellowed the aging man. Undeterred, Father poured in twice as much gunpowder into the musket's barrel and prepared his second shot. Suddenly, a flock of white-faced whistling mallards came out of the southeast, followed by a gust of wind. Traditionally hard prey to land a shot on, Father decided to test luck. Kapow! A shot and a miss, teased back Addison. 1 more missed shot and your farm will be mine. Father, with shaking hands, emptied a full gasket of gunpowder into this barrel. He forced himself to use a metal rod to smash as much gunpowder as he could possibly fit inside the chamber's orifice and said a silent prayer. Father waited and saw several flocks fly by. He took no chances. Finally, as manna from heaven, an overly fed flock of traditional English Aylesbury and Rowan came slowly barreling and barely staying airborne through the air. There must have been at least 30 of them. Emboldened by the opportunity, Father prepared his last shot, his bloodhound sleeping next to the metal rod. Looking as straight as his old eyes could see, he pulled the trigger and the shot launched through the sky, but clearly missed the bird by a mile. I'll be damned, Father shouted. Bloody birds! Sorry, old man. Looks like it's not your day, retorted back Addison. I'll be taking that deed to the farm. With that, dejected Father handed over the deed to the farm. How would he tell his darling wife? How would he tell his headstrong but affable 7 daughters? Chapter 9. Thorns, you beautiful creature, Florentine chortled in delight. I told you I would surprise you, Thorns beamed back. This is unlike any garden I've ever seen. That is because Father Brevard has been planting trees and shrubbery every year since he moved into the province almost 30 years ago. Well, I love it, blushed Florentine. And I adore you, Thorns replied. Surprising himself with his boldness, Florentine blushed as red as a ginger lass could go. Oh, Thorns, she confessed. Take my hand and dance with me, you beautiful girl, Thorns asserted. With that, the 2 cupped hands and began a youthful waltz. They spun and turned into Father Brevard's hidden garden. Although hidden to the rest of the world, Father Brevard knew where his hidden garden was, and snuck a peek at the young love. A grin came over Father Brevard's shrouded face. He knew he had witnessed a special moment in these 2 young lives. Chapter 10. You what? Mother screamed. I lost the family farm, Father rejoined, delivering the bad news. How could you, Mother accused. It wasn't my fault. I've been shooting that musket for years. How was I to know I would miss the shot? Beatrice ran away crying, and Grammy Edith Hazel hit the floor. Did she just faint? Mother shouted. No, worse, Father responded, checking her pulse. She just had a heart attack. Gertrude, run and fetch the apothecary right now, Mother commanded. Yes, Mom, Gertrude responded and began to run. I think I can help, clamored a deep voice from behind. As everyone turned, to see a wild pirate standing in all his rugged garb. With that, the pirate launched forward and stuck a bottle of rum in the old grandma's mouth and began to pour. 1 gulp, 2 gulp, and on the third, Grammy Edith Hazel shot up, spewing rum out of her mouth in a coughing fit. "You saved Grammy Hazel!" Beatrice ran in and gave the random pirate a hug. "It's not the first time I've saved a lost soul with a bottle of rum," the pirate roared, puffing out his chest. "Well, today you are a hero," Beatrice screeched, kissing him on the cheek. And with the crisis resolved, the valorous pirate headed out to the town, while Beatrice headed to the sisters' room to freshen up for the last dance of the summer. Chapter 11. "I'm borrowing your pantyhose," Beatrice shouted down towards her mother's room at the end of the hall. "That is fine, my dear, as long as you return them with no holes in them," lovingly reciprocated her mother. "What are you doing, Beatrice?" questioned Mary Beth. "I'm crushing wild berries to make special lipstick that will empower me as a woman," explained Beatrice. "That is lovely, sister," answered Mary Beth. "I don't think you need it, though. You are so naturally beautiful." "But you are blind, Mary Beth," Beatrice pointed out. "I'm not blind, though, Beatrice. But if I was a big, strong man, I would marry you in a second," Durand Melody supported. Flash forward 3 hours and the girls were at the dance, and Beatrice looked fierce. "Dance with me, Humphrey," Beatrice dictated to the skinny farm boy. "As you wish, princess." Humphrey bowed and began to prance. The dance was a speedy waltz. The couple had no problem keeping up, but a mysterious girl with too tight of a corset began to hyperventilate due to the speed, and as 2 butlers brought out a fatted cooked boar on a silver platter, the mysterious girl fainted flat on her back, her partner in complete awe. "Call the doctor," the partner proclaimed. One physically endowed boy even ripped off his shirt and attempted to give her mouth-to-mouth, but was quickly pulled away and called an idiot. The majority of the other attractive males ran out in search of the provincial doctor. "The dance is a bust," announced the Archduke. "Please return to your homes." Chapter 12. "You're going to have to deliver her," shouted the pregnant woman to Farah. "But I have no formal training," Beatrice repeated back, dismayed. "We have no choice. The doctor got called to the Archduke's home and my water has already come asunder," Farah whipped back. "Fine, I'll do what I can," Beatrice reassured, breathing hard. "Push, push, give it all you've got." "I'm trying, it's so hard. Ah!" Farah screamed frantically. "Believe in yourself, try harder, and you can achieve what you put your mind to." Beatrice did her best to encourage her. "Ah! Ah!" groaned Farah. "Fight with all you've got. Put power into the push. Wind in your heart and then in your hips," she spurted. "Will you just shut up? Ah!" Farah chided. The next thing they knew, out came the newborn, and Beatrice delivered her like a midwife. It all happened so quickly. "You see, that wasn't so bad," Beatrice gibed Farah. "Well, she is my first, and you were here to help me. I shall name her Angelonia." "Thank you, Beatrice von Tramp," proclaimed Farah in tired exuberance. Chapter 13. "You fell asleep again on the post?" Father Brevard questioned the new clergy he had hired to watch the chickens overnight. "Aye, sir," embarrassedly answered the new clergy. "You know we will never solve the mystery of the missing eggs if you can't do a better job with the nighttime guarding. It just doesn't make any sense. I even went down to the market last Friday and purchased 2 more Aracanas from Sussex, and even they don't seem to be producing their standard yield. Them combined with the 40% increased yield of pheasants from last year's stock makes no sense as to why we are seeing a weekly 10% reduction in eggs week to week, crescendoing from initial drop last month, 50% off the predicted familial yield," emphatically stated Father Brevard. "It's as if we are farming alien chickens. Do you think it is possible the chickens are striking against me? Could they be assuming I've been withholding tithes from the good Lord, when that just isn't close to being true?" Father Brevard worried. "I don't have the blimiest clue, sir," the new clergy responded back in utter confusion. "This charade must come to an end. Tonight I will join you at past sundown on the chicken coop patrol, and we will discover once and for all what is at the root of this chicken egg mystery." Father Brevard proclaimed with a sequent stamp of each of his feet. Chapter 14. Why did that darned sensuous Beatrice bewitch my heart, thought Buckley to himself in clear signs of anger and malice. He carried an axe in his hand and had been haunted by a memory of his ex-love's lingering kisses for many months. As he headed to the Von Tramp family farm, he shaded his face with mud to try and disguise what he planned to do next. Why had he tried so hard to force her to make out with him when she wasn't in the mood? Why had he given her a stuffed badger for her last year's Christmas present? It had all gotten sour after that. As the last beams of sundown disappeared behind the rolling hill, Buckley neared the farm. He covertly circled the old barn and made his way to the horse's pen. Once there, Buckley took one violent swing at the top post, and then a second. On the third swing, the post split down the middle and came crashing down on the lower post. One more post, Buckley said to himself audibly. One swing and a chip. Two swings and a crack. A third swing, and the final post was about to give way. On the fourth swing, the entire fence came crashing down asunder, and the wild stallions and tame mules inside galloped excitedly out of the newly found gap in the fence. "My job is done, my former love," shouted Buckley in maniacal revenge. "I hope you like empty pens." Chapter 15. Slap. "You know I never loved you, Buckley," Beatrice screamed as she slapped Buckley across the face. "You are a complete idiot. Haven't you heard Father lost the family farm in a duck shooting contest he had against Addison Sinclair?" yammered Beatrice, louder in full-blown outrage. "Even so, it still gives you no right to break another landowner's fence and free their pack beasts and riding animals. You are a bloody idiot." With twice the ferocity, Buckley now with his back to Beatrice, trying to walk away, she lunged forward, giving him a massive slap across his butt, the sound reverberating through the air. "That should leave a nasty bruise. But I hope you have learned your lesson." "I ain't learned nothin', but never to fall for a viper," Buckley yammered back, and with his tail between his legs he hobbled back to his homestead. Chapter 16. Time passed. There was peace and quiet in the province, and autumn was in the air. The biggest controversy to grace these parts was the fact that all the autumn petticoats had been sold out throughout the entire region, not only the fashionable petticoats but the sham ones as well. 3 of the Van Tramp sisters had taken 2 separate weekend trips to neighboring towns in search of petticoats and had come back on both occasions empty-handed. Beyond that, Beatrice's eldest sister Evangeline and the 4th oldest sister Florentine had both taken handsome boyfriends, and both seemed to be madly in love, Evangeline with Crimshaw and Florentine with Thorns. "Why are there no more handsome men in the province?" Beatrice interrogated Evangeline. "You just need to keep your chin up and keep working on mastering the 11 different forms of etiquette and propriety," Evangeline offered in an attempt to buoy Beatrice. "It is amazing that despite already being 21 years old, Crimshaw still seems madly in love with you," Beatrice retorted. "Oh, Beatrice, you are so merciless but kind," Evangeline countered. "That is it. I am going for a walk," announced Beatrice. Chapter 17. Beatrice, dressed in her favorite autumn dress and thermals, stared into a reflective pond filled mostly by red, yellow, and orange fallen leaves. She had many fond memories coming there as a girl, running around the lake and playing games with her sisters. What a beautiful day to be in nature and see the changing of the seasons, symbolic of our transitory state in life, philosophically stated Beatrice to herself. She continued to walk and saw a fellow, likewise staring into the water, and hunched over a log. As she turned closer, she saw it was Alexander Fluter. "Alexander?" Beatrice interjected. "Oh, hi there. I didn't see you there, Beatrice," Alexander answered back. "It's not a problem, Alex," Beatrice reassured. "It is such a beautiful day, and the changing seasons remind me of the transitory state of life. It seems oddly symbolic," Alexander philosophized. "It is like you're reading my mind, Alexander," Beatrice declared in clear shock, "or perhaps even reading my heart." "Do you want to walk with me, Beatrice?" inquired Alexander, the optimism showing on his face. "Oh, Alex, I will walk with you," she answered back. They made their way to the old cobble bridge. ancient with vines growing up the side, but showing it could last the test of time. The couple walked to the center of the bridge and stopped, turning to view the stream flowing underneath. With colored leaves delicately falling through the air, Alexander turned to Beatrice and said, "I love this place. It reminds me of when I was young and used to play around the lake. We used to play hours here as kids." "That is so romantic, Alex," whined Beatrice. "I used to come here as a child as well. What if we were both here at the same time years ago and didn't even know of each other's existence? I suppose it could have happened. We both live within a few dozen furlongs of each other," thought Alexander aloud. "Could we be meant for each other, Alexander?" Beatrice emphatically stated, now looking into Alexander's eyes. "Does this answer it?" Alexander posited, leaning in for the kiss, and doing the best he could to block his large buck teeth with his upper lip while still puckering his lips, and with that he laid one on her, and to her surprise, she liked it. Chapter 18. Beatrice and Alexander courted all that season and into the winter. She had grown used to looking past his obvious lack of physical attraction, and life was looking up for Beatrice. That was until one day the unspeakable happened. She was betrayed by her own flesh and blood, her own sister Gertrude. Gertrude had gotten jealous despite not even knowing the reasons why. She likewise had not been physically attracted to Alexander, but the prospect of not being in love had led her to betrayal. On that fateful day, as Beatrice and Alexander relaxed on their hay bale chair, Gertrude came running. "I have a deep, dark secret I need to tell you about Beatrice," Gertrude blasted. "What could you possibly be talking about?" interjected Beatrice. "Yes, what in the world could you be talking about?" likewise asked Alexander. "Late last summer, I was coming back from the field having harvested a full basketful of corn, and out of the corner of my eye I saw Beatrice touching Buckley's butt," hissed Gertrude. "Tell me it isn't true, Beatrice," stammered Alexander. "Wait, Alex, I can explain. It wasn't a touch, it was a slap," lamented Beatrice. "Don't say another word. I can't take it anymore, Beatrice. Our courtship cannot go on," gushed Alexander as he stood up from the hay bale. "No, honey biscuit, come back," Beatrice called out. "It was too late. Alex could not be deterred. How could you betray me? Is this what you wanted, you gutter witch?" Beatrice accused, pointing at Gertrude. Life had gotten worse from then on out. Both Evangeline and Crimshaw, as well as Florentine and Thorns, broke up over petty drama. One couple had argued over the proper way to powder a wig, and the other over the prudence of solidarity. All three sisters were complete emotional wrecks. It didn't make the situation any better that it was only 10 days out from the winter ball. A true tragedy, which couldn't have been much more discouraging for the young lasses. To make matters worse, the family's butter churn stick had snapped into two during one vigorous churning session. Mother had told the girls not to churn it so thick, and in all the commotion the family goat had wandered off, getting lost in the woods, as may have been a result of the snapped butter stick, or perhaps even the missing goat, or perhaps the insanity of living under the roof with 7 single daughters. Mother had fallen seriously ill once again. As if icing on the horrific cake, there was even a rumor circulating the county that the Duchess was going to steal Beatrice's man, Alexander Fluter. Chapter 19. Beatrice felt as if she was at the low point in her life. So much had gone wrong in such a short amount of time. She had resorted to taking daily walks to try to better cope with her constant stress and anxiety. One such walk, she just so happened to run into Alexander Fluter. "Alex, what are you doing here?" Beatrice questioned. "I'm going to the fish market to buy some cod," he responded. "Rumor has been circulating that you and the Duchess are dating now," she probed. "Who started that rumor? I haven't even seen the Duchess in 3 moons' time. And besides, she has loads of money. Why would she want to be dating me for?" Alexander questioned back. "You're selling yourself short, Alexander. You might be bald with buck teeth, but you have a heart of gold," Beatrice exclaimed. "Well, it was good talking to you, Beatrice. I hope you find what you are looking for," Alexander stuttered back to her. "And I hope you have a good life, my dear Alexander," sobbed Beatrice as she headed back home. No sooner had Beatrice made it to the Moor's Landing when out of nowhere a black silk bag was thrown over her face, and she was physically constrained by strong male arms. Before she could say anything, ropes were placed around her arms and legs, and she knew she was being kidnapped. The suddenness of it all prevented Beatrice from being able to scream. Where would he be taking her? She would know soon enough as she felt herself being thrown into the strong captor's shoulder and carried like a sack of potatoes. The next thing she heard surprised her. Out of the mouth of her captor came a familiar voice saying, "Ahoy, matey! I caught a good one. Off to the ship." Chapter 20. "Quiet, Clergy," softly hissed Father Brevard. "I hear someone coming." "I wasn't making any noise, Father," complained the subdued Clergy. "This is my chance to finally solve the perplexing mystery of the missing eggs. I spent all afternoon researching as much literature as I could on the matter. Nothing I read lends me to believe I have alien chickens or judgmental fowl. Everything I've researched points to thievery, and we will now see what is behind the noise in the bush," shouted Father Brevard as he jumped out with his lantern to see a family of rabbits scurrying away. "We must be more quiet, Clergy," redoubled Father Brevard. "I'm not making any noise," whined the Clergy. "It is a fool's errand to try and reason your way to heaven, my dear Clergy. One cannot pave your way to heaven with the hollow luminescence of earthly coin. Heaven's currency is made of far more reliable fodder. But back to the issue of the 40 to 50% reduction in egg yield. These chickens are my flock, and I must watch over them. Egg-producing hens are happy hens, and happy hens make happy fathers, and happy fathers make good decisions, and good decisions help to pave the way to heaven's gate. Now, I'm not saying that solving this mystery is directly related to our salvation, but I am saying they could be tangentially related. Let us redouble our efforts once again, Clergy," rattled off Father Brevard. 15 more minutes passed with Father Brevard rambling about chickens, feed to fowl ratios, and whatever random things popped in his head, when all of a sudden they heard another noise, this time footsteps. "Quiet, my boy, someone approaches," shouted the father, hardly holding in his excitement. "I haven't been this excited since I was a tyke at my own baptism." Out of the bushes fell a masked intruder wearing the mask of a fox. "Stop, masked intruder, reveal yourself," yelled Father Brevard. "I mean you no harm," replied the intruder, who now Father Brevard noticed was carrying a small basket. "I am your servant," he continued. He removed his mask, and sure enough, the father's servant was the one standing in front of the two men. "I apologize, Father. I've been sealing a few eggs every night to feed my family. My children are still growing, and fresh-cooked eggs are their favorite," explained the servant. "Oh, Sebastian, why didn't you just ask me for some extra eggs? You know I have eggs to spare," inquired Father Brevard. "Because I was embarrassed to ask you. You love your chickens so much, and I really didn't want to intrude." "All is forgiven, my child. Let us fill up your basket with eggs, tasty jam, and marmalades to feed the children." "Thank you, Father. I don't know what to say," sobbed Sebastian repentantly. "Say nothing, my child," proclaimed the kind father. "Tonight you will eat by my house. Heaven's blessing be upon you. The mystery is solved." Chapter 21. Beatrice couldn't believe what had occurred over the course of the last 24 hours. She had not only had an accidental run-in with her ex-boyfriend Alexander Fluter, but had now been kidnapped by the same pirate she had kissed on the cheek for saving Grammy Edith Hazel. "What is your name, fiend?" Beatrice stammered. "The name is Captain Gilbert Kingsley, my mistress," confidently guffawed the pirate. "The Captain Gilbert Kingsley?" she gasped in sudden disbelief. "The same Captain Gilbert Kingsley who somehow manages to leave women wooing at every port you visit despite only finding empty caves of treasure long spent and new species of seagull?" "Aye, that's me, lassie," he chortled back. "Well, it doesn't impress me," she teased back. "You're a hard lady to win over, me girl," Gilbert chuckled. "It's why I picked ye." "Picked me for what?" investigated Beatrice in surprise. "Picked ye to be my wife." Chapter 22. "Your wife?" Beatrice exploded in disbelief. "Aye, your intensity is like a cannonball, and your body the cannon. Don't force me heart to walk the plank," Gilbert proclaimed. Beatrice, surprised by her own reaction, couldn't help but feel a little bit turned on by his boldness. Well, it wouldn't be ladylike of me to marry a pirate, Beatrice flirted back.
Ladylike? Who cares about being ladylike if you can be a siren on the sea, standing there glorious, wild, and free? Adventure might await, but I have already found my treasure,
Gilbert winked back. As Beatrice blushed, she became gobsmacked and didn't know what to say.
Well, my mermaid of the land and the sea, what ye say we mop the poop deck, and then, when all the work is done, we have a hearty feast and split a bottle of rum?
With the passage of time, Beatrice couldn't help but find herself falling more and more madly in love with Gilbert Kingsley. He was such a gentleman scallywag in his heart, but most of all, a good man. It didn't help that he had abs of steel and always had a habit of climbing to the crow's nest with no shirt on, and not to mention his booty. She would pay a decent booty to get a free express to watch that booty. Nevertheless, she remained coy, never revealing her true feelings. It wouldn't be until they were captured by a true villain that Gilbert would learn the truth. Chapter 23.
Ye must choose to either have the captain thrown overboard with a cannonball tied to his chest, sending him straight to Davy Jones' locker, or choose to walk the plank, cackled Skeletor, the villainous first mate at Beatrice. He had just performed a mutiny, taking control of Gilbert's ship. No, not Gilbert, I love him, proclaimed Beatrice. Ye love me? Gilbert yelped, turning to face Beatrice. I always have, my dear Gilbert, she confessed, ever since the day I saw you and you saved Grammy Edith. It doesn't change that he's a ruddy pirate and never finds anything but empty chests and annoying seabirds, Skeletor commanded. Now choose.
I will walk the plank, roared Beatrice. No, me love, I will take ye place, Gilbert forcefully announced as he stepped out to join Beatrice on the plank. If ye cast one of us, ye cast both of us. Gilbert then, in a feat of pure romance and athleticism, dipped Beatrice over the plank and laid the biggest kiss on her any pirate had ever seen. The entire crew, with the exception of Skeletor, let out a boisterous cheer that echoed from deck to deck. Skeletor, in utter disbelief, dropped his sword as it quickly rolled into the ocean.
There ye go, matey. She's jumped the plank and into me heart, trumpeted Gilbert as the crew gave another hearty cheer.
Kiss her again! Kiss her again! Came shouts from the crew.
I think I can do ye one better, heralded Gilbert,
and getting down on one knee, still expertly balancing on the plank, Gilbert pulled out what appeared to be a beautiful 3-carat diamond ring.
Beatrice Von Tramp, will ye marry me?
He glowed in all his fantastic glory. Yes, Gilbert, yes, yes, 1,000 times yes, she proclaimed, tears streaming down her face, pirates cheering like a gaggle of schoolgirls. The day had been won. Chapter 24. This should pay for it, Gilbert posited, handing Beatrice a small bag of coins. Thank you, Gilbert, my love, Beatrice lovingly responded and planted a big kiss right on the captain's lips.
Ye shan't be gone long, shan't ye? I don't want to have to go kidnapping ye again, Gilbert questioned.
No, I just must drop by the auction house to make an attempt to repurchase the family farm, and then drop by to RSVP for the big spring dance.
Alrighty then. Off with ye now, Gilbert flirtatiously shooed, having successfully retaken the ship and navigated it back to port. I shan't miss ye, me firecracker, winked as he lied.
Going once, going twice, the auctioneer proclaimed. 1 small bag of gold, wailed Beatrice. Sold, announced the auctioneer, for 1 small bag of gold. She had successfully bought back the family farm. Upon her arrival back at the farm, to her joyous incredulity, she saw none other than her fiancé, Captain Gilbert Kingsley, standing in the center of the horse's pen, holding a large map and a shovel.
Buttercup Lips, what are ye doing here?
Wailed Gilbert, perhaps even more surprised than she was to see him there. I'm coming to visit our newly repurchased family farm, she responded, running as fast as she could to give him a warm embrace. This is ye land? He questioned back. It is indeed, Beatrice answered back. Ye may not believe this, but buried not more than 2 skeleton heads beneath where we stand is buried Ratcliffe Rigby's lost treasure, caterwauled Gilbert, his eyes glistening with excitement. Sure enough, with no more than 10 scoopfuls of dirt unearthed, Beatrice and Gilbert found a gigantic golden chest full of gold, rubies, and pirate's teeth, a treasure so large it would even leave the richest noble's head spinning. Chapter 25. Where did you learn to dance, my gunpowder hunk? Flirted Beatrice.
I haven't been a pirate me whole life,
Gilbert whistled back as he performed an expert sequenced amalgamation of jumps, jives, and jigs. He's the talk of the town, Mother whispered, leaning into Beatrice. I'm so proud of you. Mother had been beaming all night long, having now 3 engaged daughters, with Evangeline and Crimshaw, as well as Florentine and Thorns, back together and newly engaged as well. All of the people Beatrice knew and loved made an appearance that night at the big spring dance. Perhaps most surprising of all was the appearance of Beatrice's long-lost Uncle Rollins, who everyone had assumed was dead. He indeed was alive and glowing bright to be in the presence of so many hearts in love.
Dance with me until I lower me mast,
Gilbert gushed, smiling, dancing, and looking into Beatrice's eyes. You'll be keeping that mast up for a long time, Beatrice kissed back as she twirled into his arms.
I love ye more than the sands of the sea,
he professed. Don't worry, me love, she heralded with all of her heart. Ye will always be with me. And with that, the lovers' lips came together, once again, united, and held together for what felt like a glorious eternity. When the kiss finally ended, their love did not, and their souls forever entwined would never be separated again. Epilogue. The wedding bells rang in all their primordial glory. It was to be a triple wedding. Beatrice and Gilbert, Evangeline and Crimshaw, Florentine and Thorns. The whole province wouldn't have missed it for the world. Even the 3 sisters' wicked stepsisters, Bertha, Hertha, and Lucinda, who spent the majority of the service in the back of the chapel crying, couldn't dare have missed it. Father Brevard married the jubilant couples, with Beatrice and Gilbert front and center of it all. They could not have been more beautiful. In what may have been mistaken as a moment of complete perfection, all 3 couples kissed in consummate unison, and as Beatrice's fairy tale wedding came to a close with rice flying from above, Gilbert's hand being held within hers, she gave a wink to her single best friend Harmony, and in 12 perfect words she whispered, Don't worry, Harmony, you will find true love too, I promise. The end.